in the dying moments. You can't see us in the studio, but we feel exactly how they feel out there. Daniel Farke going around and hugging every single individual player. You can see just how much that means to them, can't you, Bridie?
For once, I'm actually speechless.
Fantastic. Simon, you next. I'm joking. But genuinely, Simon, here in the studio, it felt silent, didn't it? We cannot believe what we have just seen.
Yeah, look, it looked like it was going to be a 1-1 draw, and we had taken the point, but Rothwell's ball in the box and the place just erupted. Our studio, all below is the south stand. It's been an unbelievable, not performance, but result. And look at the togetherness.
Perspective, the studio is currently rocking. It's vibrating that much. We saw Ethan Ampadu then just giving a team talk as well. What will he have been saying then?
Just that they deserved it. That, you know, they came out the second half and they really fought for it, for every ball, I felt. And you know, the first half we know was disappointing. We broke that down a little bit at half time. Second half, they've come out fighting. They've got the equaliser. And Simon, you actually said this. I can see a goal coming in the final few minutes. And you know what? And we got that. And like you said, the place is just completely erupting. These fans do not want to go home tonight.
Even Daniel Farke, I mean, yes, we saw him hugging everyone, but he looks completely stunned himself there, Simon.
Well, when you score so late on, the emotions, sometimes you've just got your mindset that you've got, like, you take the point. But when you get a last-minute winner like that in such a game of this magnitude, it's sort of the juices are flowing, the emotions are going through the roof. And I'm surprised he didn't run down the touchline, because I certainly would have been.
He ran on the pitch and did a celebration. I'm sure he ended up on his knees at one point.
Talk us through the magnitude though, Bridie, because we were trying desperately not to beat this up too much, but this game was huge for us.
Yeah, I mean, second half there wasn't really much to write home about. I mean, we were kind of talking, you know, about the half chances and things like that, but you know, we didn't really have any big chances. But you know, the big man came off the bench and pulled it out the bag for us. But what an unlikely player to come off. I mean, I was saying at half time, when you look at the talent on the bench, Ramazani and Nontone, players like that coming on, I did not expect it to be Strike that scored the 2 goals, but really, really pleased for him. What a super sub.
Simon, we spoke ahead of the game though about the strength and depth that we have on the bench, and they proved time and time again the quality and worth, don't they?
Look, I think when you analyse the game overall, we'll say it wasn't really a top performance. I think Sunderland get credit for that, but what you cannot take away from this group is that the togetherness, there's a willingness to keep going to the very end, the spirit, and there's just this connection between this group of players, the manager and the supporters, which when you think things are drifting away from you, sometimes they can get you through the real dark patches. And unbelievable result.
Yeah, it's that ruthlessness and that determination as well, isn't it, Bridie, to see it through to the bitter end.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there were times in that second half, especially when we got the equaliser, where you thought, you know what, I'll take a 1-1 draw here. But to get the win in the time that we did it as well, right at the death of extra time, I mean, it couldn't have come at a better time, could it? Let's be honest.
And look, also let's be honest about the fact that we've spoken about this game and the upcoming game next Monday. We know how big and how important they are. We can see how much it means to the players and to the fans, and there's a reason for that, isn't there, Simon, in the context of the season?
Well, it is. When we were talking earlier that when we're losing this game, it all suddenly becomes 4 points difference between Sunderland. Now it's 10. It's huge, and all them Burnley and Sheffield United supporters will be absolutely devastated about this result, because they've seen us go back to the top of the league. We've got the great goal difference as well, and it is a statement of a result. Don't play as well as you can do, but still get the result, and that's, without saying it, well, I'm going to say it, that's how you get promoted.
Yes, it is. How will Pascal Struijk be feeling right now, Bridie?
On top of the world. You know, he's come on to do a job defensively, but we know he's a danger from set pieces, and we know, as we've mentioned numerous times, about the quality of the delivery of Rothwell's. I do think that goal was actually going in from Rothwell, so he might be thinking, you've taken my goal off me here, but I mean,
it's 3 points.
It's 3 points, so who cares at the end of the day, yeah.
And after a performance like that, because like we say, it's not a classic Leeds United performance, but ultimately, Simon, like you say, it's the 3 points that matter.
Of course it is. Look, it doesn't matter come the end of the season if you're promoted, how you get there. You win 7-0 against Cardiff, you win 2-1 tonight. It's 3 points in both games, but the magnitude of what that result does to the rest of the teams chasing, Sunderland supporters and team and staff will be like absolutely distraught after that. But karma can go around, can't it? We lost up there. Well, we drew in the last minute by a mistake. We go and win in the last minute. It's a beautiful way and a beautiful result.
Yes, it is. Well, let's talk to a man now who hugely contributed to that win. Joe Rothwell is joining us. Huge congratulations, Joe. How are you feeling after that?
Yeah, buzzing. You know, the way the game was panning out, they knew there was going to be opportunities there, but you know, there's no better way to win it than in the last kick of the game.
Joe, Simon Grayson here. Well done, mate. You must have been a bit disappointed not to be starting a game of this magnitude tonight, but it's a squad game, and it's when you come off the bench, you've got to try and affect the game, and you've 2 assists is a great way to tell the manager that you're ready for the next game, aren't you?
Yeah, obviously I'd be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed, but you know, the way the lads have played in the last few games, you know, the manager felt like it was only right to keep them in, and you know, rightly so. And I knew that if I got an opportunity today, I'd have to come on and you know, do something, and you know, thankfully I managed to do that, setting up 2 goals. So yeah, I've given him a bit of a headache now for the next game, and let's see what happens.
How many left-footed crosses have you assisted over your career then?
I think that could be the first. It was a shot anyway.
Joe, let's have a look back at those 2 goals, shall we? Because they were unbelievable. We have been well and truly bigging you up in this studio, haven't we?
We certainly have, Joe. I was crying out for you to come on at half-time, and boy, did you deliver. Just out of interest, Joe, what did Daniel Farke say to you at half-time? Because the difference between the first half performance and the second half was quite a contrast. So what did he have to say?
Well, I wasn't actually in there at half-time, but I can only imagine from you know, from watching from the side, it was probably a bit more of the same, really. You know, we knew we had them camped in our half for most of the game, but it was more about just executing that last little final pass. And yeah, like I said, actually just before me and Pass come on, he did say we were going to score a set play, so nice for that to come off.
Joe, watching that back, knowing how you contributed, you've just been out there celebrating with your teammates, you've seen all of the fans. How do you feel absorbing that out there?
Yeah, it's what it's all about. You know, I don't think there's been many games this season that the fans have stayed right to the end like that, and it's been a full house. So you can see how much it meant to us out there, and obviously you can see how much it obviously meant to the fans as well. So you know, it gives us a good building block now to go into another massive game on Monday.
It's like from tonight's result, from them winning the game at the one stage to being 4 points behind us, now 10 points. That's a massive gap, and also the statement that it gives to Burnley and Sheffield United is that this team is never ever beaten and never gives up, and I think that spirit in the group, you'll know more than I do, but it plays a big part, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's huge. Obviously, you'll know, being a manager yourself, it can take a team a long way, and you know, we had a bit of an unlucky one down at their place, shall we say. So it was nice to be on the right end of the one this time, and you know, we've had a couple of last gasp winners, but this one definitely felt the sweetest.
Joe, we know the magnitude of a game like this tonight, another big one coming up. What is the feeling like amongst the squad at the minute?
Confidence is really high. You know, I'm not sure how many unbeaten run is now. We don't look at that. We just take each game as it comes. But you know, winning only breeds confidence, and obviously the more we can do that, the more confidence everyone's going to get. And as I say, it's a team game. It's not just about the 11 that are out there, and you know, I think we show that every game.
Joe, just out of interest, from your angle, was that going in? Would that have been your goal? I'm curious if he nicked it off you.
Take the credit, Joe.
I was saying to Pask, I thought he was going in. It looked like he went over the keeper, but you know, Pask is just there to make sure, and I think he'd do what anyone would do in that situation and put it in the back of the net.
He did indeed make sure. Well, huge congratulations, Joe. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care. We'll let you go and celebrate.
Well done, Joe.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Again, you could just see how much it means to him, can't you?
Massively. Yeah, I mean, I said the fans don't want to go home, and I think they're still there now, but just the way in which all the bench just celebrated, it was like we'd already won the league. And I know we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but it just goes to show how much it means to the players and the staff.
Simon, we've spoken about the fact that it wasn't a classic Leeds United performance, but again, those points, you could just see what that means to those fans, like Bridie says.
Well, never mind the fans, I nearly went through the window, to be fair. all my earpieces and everything nearly went out, by the way. I think I was nearly in the south stand at one stage.
I thought we were just sick of working with us, Simon.
But no, look, you have to find different ways of winning football matches, and that's when you've got to really dig deep at times. And we would have taken a draw at a certain point of the game, but you just keep going. We felt there was going to be one more opportunity, and it's a bit of sort of karma come what the result that they got up there against us when they got out of jail tonight. We've got out of jail a little bit, but it's just a fantastic night for the supporters because they stayed with the team, by the way, the team that were pushed on to the very end by the supporters, and that connection is unbelievable to have.
Well, do you know what? It feels slightly easier looking back at their first goal, doesn't it now? Let's have a look at that. That Isidore goal. Obviously, we said, didn't we, Bridie, we made this too easy for them, really, in that first half.
Yeah, we did. And when you concede a goal, you kind of want it to be a case of the fact that you can say, do you know what, they deserved that goal. They've worked really hard to get that goal, but it was far too easy. The ball down the right-hand side, cutting half of our team out, essentially, and then, Ampadu just getting a little bit too tight, and, Isidore did what a good striker does and used his body really well and finished really well, in all fairness.
Yeah, he did. And at this point, Simon, it was pretty frustrating. It was a frustrating watch, wasn't it?
Well, it was, because I've got to give credit to Sunderland. I thought they played the first half really well. They were dangerous on the counter-attack, defended really well, limited us to few opportunities. It's a poor goal, as we mentioned, from our perspective. But second half we were better, but Sunderland still looked like they were going to be solid in defence and not allow us to get the breakthrough. But you've just sometimes got to find a way of getting something out of the game. And once we got the equaliser, you could sense there was that belief within the group and the supporters to go and try and get the winning goal. And
well, let's
luckily,
have a look at that
what panned out.
Equaliser, shall we? Sorry, Simon. Let's have a look at that now, because you're right. You could really sense a shift in this moment, couldn't you, Bridie?
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of looking at each other in the studio, thinking, needs to make subs. It's not really happening for us. We were struggling to break them down. Credit to them defensively. They were so well organised, and they were happy for, obviously, for the 1-0 win. But yeah, when Rothwell came on, you kind of sensed that something was going to happen, and that quality of delivery, it just needed someone on the end of it. And what better player than this one?
But he's done that all season, to be fair. Joe Rothwell practices free kicks, set pieces, probably most days at the training ground, and it's no coincidence. By practice, put it in the right area, you've got people that are willing to go and attack it. First half we didn't have the quality of the set piece, but also we didn't have people attacking it. Here, great ball, great area, Pascal Strike in the right area, glancing header, back of the net, game on.
You asked him about the manager, him not starting and how he feels about that. But these are the kind of problems Daniel Farke will love to have, that he knows he can bring on subs like that, and he's got that much quality.
100%. And all you do when you make your substitutions is you want them to affect the game in however manner they can, whether you're a defender coming to see the game out or actually attacking midfield players. Can you assist something? Can somebody get on the end of things? And his substitutions work today.
What will his message be now at full time? How different from half time from Daniel?
See you in the morning for a cool down. Knowing Daniel like I do, he's pretty level headed. He'll be buzzing inside. I think outwardly he'll be letting the players celebrate in that dressing room, but there'll be a point he'll say, right, well done everybody, it's been a fantastic result, soak all the atmosphere in, and let's get ready now for another big game next Monday. That's how quickly the mindset of a manager can change from suddenly winning to then getting focused on the next game.
Right, well, we want to look at the winning goal first before we look ahead to the next game. Let's have a look at that, because again, this was like edge of your seat stuff. I mean, me and you have never been so quiet, Bridie. We couldn't believe what we were seeing here, could we?
Absolutely not. It was just mind-blowing stuff towards the end, and we had to watch the replay, didn't we, to work out what exactly had happened here. But just obviously the initial corner in, and then it managed to find its way back out to Rothwell. Great cross with his left foot, and just another, again, glancing header from Strike. So yeah, absolutely brilliant.
I think you've got to give credit to Ramzani, because how he's found Joe Rothwell with that shot back out to his feet. It was an unbelievable miscued shot, which ended up in the perfect place back to Rothwell, who beat his man and then has a composure. Sometimes people rush it in them areas because you think it's last 30 seconds, just stick it back in. But he took the composure to put it into an area where he's got loads of bodies, and Pascal Strike's there to get on the end of it. And look at the celebration and the dejection of Sunderland players.
As a manager, Simon, how delighted would you be with that?
Oh, well, as an ex-player and manager, I was through the roof here anyway. So as a manager, I'd have been down towards the cop. When you get late minute winners, you celebrate as if you're a supporter. And Daniel doesn't show a lot of emotions, but I'm sure he was absolutely
there was a lot of hugs, though. He was giving a lot of hugs out, Daniel was there.
Look at this ball for Ramzani. Unbelievable how we managed to find that pass.
One thing we haven't referenced is Sunderland. they'll be deeply disappointed. We saw their players sat looking very disheartened, didn't we, at the end of the game, because this was a huge one for them as well, Bridie.
Yeah, I think a draw would have been a good result against Leeds for them. You know, it still keeps them in a good position, but like Simon says, 10 points is just, in my opinion, too big a gap to close. And you know what was interesting is the Sunderland fans singing "Leeds are falling apart again," and then and then what way to quieten them down with that. So yeah, fantastic.
What message does this send to not just the other teams in the Championship, but in particular those in the top four?
Well, I think, you know, when you're beating teams in the league that are mid-table and obviously towards the bottom of the league, it's expected. These kind of games, we do expect a tougher test, and that's exactly what we got. But to get the all-important 3 points, and like I said, it didn't really matter who scored, when we scored, as long as we scored, but we didn't have to leave it late. Typical Leeds United.
So late that there was silence here in the studio. Daniel Farker was hugging people. Tony and Bryn, were you hugging each other when that winner went in?
There have been a few hugs, yes. I actually walked up the tunnel at the end of the game as we came down from the stand. Oh, throat's feeling that one. Arm in arm with Ilan Melier up the tunnel. The guy was so very, very happy. They were all so very, very happy. So the atmosphere down here, absolutely fantastic, as you might well imagine. And why wouldn't it be? Because that is another one of those Elland Road nights, isn't it?
It was incredible. The noise, as soon as that second goal went in, the place just lifted off. I don't know what the fuss is about, to be honest. I mean, it's just a straightforward game, wasn't it? It wasn't, because a goal down, the pressure's on, and the way that we played in the second half, we just smothered them. They couldn't get their passing game going, and eventually, we found that bit of quality. We were crying out for someone to deliver the decent balls into the box, and the 2 substitutions worked a treat.
And in a way, Leeds found a way back into the game that hasn't been in evidence much in previous matches. The goals have been scored in different ways, but classic ball into the box, big centre half, header. It's a route Leeds don't usually follow.
No, we don't, but there's lots of ways of winning games, lots of ways of scoring goals as well. And sometimes you have to be patient. Things don't quite work out. The opposition plays well, defends well. But I just thought eventually we had to get a chance, because we really stopped them playing in that second half. They were struggling. They were going backwards. And every time they got the ball, there was 2 or 3 players around them. Whereas in the first half, they managed to get through us, a few times. But you still have to find that quality at the end of it. And also keep patient and don't really get too frustrated. Lots of things out there were going on where Sunderland were trying to take their time, but we kept at it, kept plugging away, and we got our rewards.
This place does something to an opposition team. You'll have seen it. You've been in the midst of it out there. It just kind of seems to suck the life out of the opposition, and we saw that even in the final few seconds. They crumbled.
They did. They found it difficult. They were going backwards physically. I'm sure they put everything into the game, but we just kept coming at them wave after wave after wave. We've always talked about our bench as well, the strength of it and the difference it can make. Well, tonight's another example of that. Everyone's got to play their part, and Big Pascal coming on with the double. That's impressive.
So 3 points is all Leeds take away from it at the end of the game. But what more could they talk about taking away from this one this evening? Is that Sunderland out the race in terms of automatics now? 10-point gap?
10 points, yeah, absolutely for sure. I think you look at Burnley now, 7 points. That's a 3-game gap as well. We keep playing like that. It's going to be really tough to catch us. But for us, just look at the next game now. That's a vital 3 points. You're right, it is only 3 points, but just the confidence to come back in that sort of situation and then do what they did out there. I mean, you saw the reaction of every single one. You were screaming, I was screaming like a baby. It's a bit embarrassing, to be fair, but why not? When it goes like that, you've got to do it.
Well, the evidence will be there forever and a day for
unfortunately
for people to enjoy or endure. Yeah. But the scenes as we walk down through the stand, everybody's still in their seats, everybody joining in with the songs as Lee went through the repertoire here. That was special, wasn't it? You could sense the great mood around the place in the aftermath.
And all of a sudden, I think we have this confidence as well, because we did keep going. We always believed that we get a chance, we'll score 1 goal. Can they then withstand the late pressure? It wasn't looking that way, but with that belief, you keep going and going and going. And then Rothwell, with that couple of bits of quality, was superb.
What a night! Well, we've got Daniel coming to join us fairly shortly, so come back soon, and we'll hear from the manager.
They did all the screaming for us, didn't they then, Bryn and Tony? But he's right about that belief. There was this sense that right until the bitter end, there was that belief that we could still snatch the 3 points?
Well, there is, and there has to be. When you're in a run like we're on at this moment in time and you're top of the division, you've got the confidence that you can keep winning games. We keep finding a way of winning games, whether it's 7-0, 2-1, 3-0 or whatever. There's different ways of winning games, and if you've got that inner belief, desire, hunger, ruthlessness, and this place fully rocking with the people behind you, then you know you've got to keep going to the very end. And it can be soul destroying for the opposition that all of a sudden you think you've done really well, or you're going to get maybe a win, or at least the very worst a draw. To come away with nothing can be like a massive body blow.
But fantastic
but a great body blow to the opposition.
Yeah, we were absolutely loving it. But Tony was also right. He said, it was important to stay patient and not get frustrated, wasn't it, in that game?
Yeah, I mean, it's easier said than done, isn't it? I mean, as a fan, we were all getting frustrated, thinking, where's this goal going to come from? And, credit to Daniel Farke, he's thinking, right, I need to make some subs, but who am I going to put on? He's looking, and there's a lot of dangerous players on there. But I think he's thought of the link-up. I think he's thought of the set pieces and how it didn't really work for us in the first half. I mean, obviously we've talked about, the fact that some of these crosses and the corners weren't beating the first man and stuff like that. But also in terms of attacking, we weren't winning the first ball or the second ball. But we know that from set pieces that Pascal's really dangerous at that, and he's proved that, not just with his head but also his feet as well. So I think he almost... It'd be interesting to speak to Daniel, but I think he almost thought, if we get an opportunity from a set piece, he's going to be the man on the end of it.
I think when you look at the substitutions as well, that everyone will have expected Willie Gnonto to be on that pitch at some point, given we were not able to break them down. But Daniel had a strategy, thought process of, well, if I can bring him on, I can do that. And that's credit to the manager.
Well, I was surprised he took Tanaka off initially. We were all going, what's he doing? But
yeah, I think he was on a yellow card as well, which might have been the thing as well. But yeah,
But also, he knows his players best, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You know what it's like.
When managers are criticised, you're making decisions that you think is the best, because he works with them every day and he knows what's required at certain points of the game. And he's had criticism for his substitutions, but he's certainly got them right tonight, as he has done more frequently over the last few weeks.
It must be quite nerve-wracking, though, Simon, in a game like that, making those changes and thinking, God, I hope this pays off.
Yeah, but sometimes you've got nothing to lose, but sometimes you've got the trust of the players that are coming on. As I said before the game, if you're bringing players on that you're thinking, he's not great, he's not going to really affect the game, then you're really actually worrying about the situation. If you bring in Rothwell, strike on, Ramzani, you've got some decent quality in that team, by the way, that you're bringing on, and they've got a point to prove. When I spoke to Joe Rothwell there, he was devastated that he's not played, but he's now laid the marker down and said to Daniel, I'm ready for Sheffield United next Monday.
Would you start him next week if you were Leeds manager?
Well, let's get through the week training. Let's see how training goes first. I think I would, but I think Daniel will stick to Grove away from home.
And keep him as a super sub.
Yeah.
Look, we heard Tony say there about this place doing something to an opposition team. You've seen it week in, week out. What is that it does?
It's a fortress, isn't it? I genuinely think the fans have got a big part to play in that as well. I think the players just don't seem to give up. The fans are constantly kind of on them and keeping pushing them and singing. And this place is just so loud. It's a fantastic stadium. It must be amazing to play in, week out. But yeah, just a fantastic feeling, isn't it?
What is it? I mean, we could see there the scenes there, Simon. What is it about Elland Road? Why is it such a fortress?
Just the support has been so fanatical, so passionate. And this group of supporters, all they want to do is see a group of players going to the very end, giving everything for the shirt and doing whatever they can do. Our supporters will back a player every minute of the week if he runs and performs to the best of his capabilities. He could have a bad game, but at least he's tried and tried. Don't pull out of tackles or anything like that. And it is a two-way thing. Again, we're seeing clips here now. Daniel celebrating to the south stand, and yes, it's a brilliant place to play when things are going really, really well.
You're right as well. What Tony was saying about wave after wave of attack. When a player gives all their heart, we love it, don't we, Bridie?
Yeah, exactly. They've got to wear. It's a big club to come to, is Leeds United, and you know, like Simon says, you've got to give it your all week in, week out, because, you know, the fans just won't accept anything less. And these players are doing that every single week. And it's, you know, fantastic when you're winning every week. And there's probably not been that many occasions where we've been frustrated this season, but I know Sunderland have had quite a few draws. And I was listening to a podcast the other day and they were saying we're really frustrated with some of the draws, but they're on for a record-breaking season of Sunderland. And I believe we are as well. If we, you know, win all our games, the opportunity is going to be ridiculous. And we talked about goal difference before the game, and even goals scored. We've scored more goals than Liverpool and Barcelona this year. So, you know, and that's the kind of football we want to see. We want to see goals. We don't want to be winning 1-0 every week. You know, we want to be seeing, you know, like your 6s and 7s and stuff like that. I know it doesn't come around very often, but when it does, boy, does it feel amazing.
If you're Sheffield United, how are you feeling having seen that, Simon?
They're probably thinking we expected Leeds to win tonight, but they will be gutted. Of course they will. When they see the result come through and 2-1 to the team that have just gone above them again, they'll be devastated. But yeah, all credit, and I think we've got a joyous head coach.
A
with,
joyous head
Bryn
coach
and,
is exactly
Tony
what we
Dorigo.
have, Simon Grayson. Do you want my job? Daniel Farker is in the tunnel with Bryn and Tony.
Thanks, Emma. Yes, we have a very happy manager, I think, with us here. That would be your only emotion at the end of all of that, wouldn't it? What a win.
Yes, these nights are the best ones. So 7-0 and 4-0, everything is great, and you cruise along easily anyhow. But this type of wins, when you play a tight game, unlucky, you are back, you have to fight, you have to dig in and score out of a set piece to come back into the game, then with the last second of the game to win this priceless 3 points, and a very, very important win for us. These are the best nights for the supporters, for the staff, for our players, and I'm pretty proud of my lads, because we played an excellent opponent today, and it was also a difficult game, but also definitely a well-deserved win in the end when you have a look on the statistic. And we never lost the nerves today. We believed till the last second that we could win this game, and we did this in an excellent fashion. And for that, yes, I'm a happy man tonight.
Well, go on. It was a Rothwell-Strout combination for the equaliser. It was a Rothwell-Strout combination for the winner, both of whom you'd brought on in that second half. What had the thinking been there in terms of making those changes?
To score 2 goals out of set pieces. So it was such a difficult decision, because normally you bring offensive players in. Today I took 2 midfielders out and brought a centre back and a midfield player in, because the feeling was we were creating set piece after set piece. So I wanted to bring my best set piece taker, Joe Roswell, on the pitch, and also my biggest target with Pascal Sturridge was still complicated, because Pascal, after long-term injury, to bring him into the game as a centre back, and he has to defend all the counters, not the easiest for the first time back for a longer period in the league back in. I was doubting this decision also for a few minutes. Also meant that I had to take our Tanaka off. He was on yellow, but I think he had an excellent game as well. But of course, I wanted to have my captain then also my skipper in this moment on the pitch with Isnam Padu. So it was a difficult decision, but in the end, all the credit and all the compliments goes to the lads, because you can have an idea as a manager and try to do something special, but it just pays off when the execution is excellent. And for that, all the praise goes to Pascal and to Joe. Yeah, they executed the idea in an excellent way.
I think in the second half, I really felt the belief in the side, because they kept going and going. And Sunderland, a good side, but we still believed that we were going to win that game, didn't we?
Yes, and I wanted to put this belief in the halftime talk also into their heads and to their souls, because the feeling was we were the better side in the first half, but a bit unlucky. Our individual 1-against-1 behavior was not great in the situation they scored, and we lost a bit the nerves in the way we attacked, and also in a few scenes with yellow cards. I calmed them down, but I also wanted to give them the belief, no, guys, don't worry, don't get nervous. We will turn this game. And yeah, thank God the guys believed me and did exactly what I wanted. We put more and more pressure on them. In the end, when you have a look at the statistic, we had nearly 70% possession, 21 to 6 shots, 11 to 9 corners is a well-deserved win. But against a well-defending side, we had to be on it. And it's not always like you score a wonderful team goal after another, or once you're not scoring the first goal and you have to open a side who is defending that deep. It's not like you create 10 1-against-1 situation on the goalkeeper. You have to dig in and have to fight for the goals. That's what we did today. And in the end, yeah, well deserved. I'm pretty proud today of my lads, and we'll allow ourselves also to be happy right now for 1 or 2 days.
And you collectively, as a group, you enjoyed it at the final whistle. The scenes were great, weren't they, inside this place? This place was rocking at the end.
Yes, felt a bit surreal. So even I was celebrating. So I thought, meanwhile, I'm a bit in my younger age as a coach. I was celebrating a lot. Meanwhile, I thought, okay, can channel the fire because the fire is still burning. But yeah, today was even an outburst. So normally I try to hide it, but believe me, the fire is still burning, and even the emotions for myself were on the highest level today.
Talking about outbursts, you should hear the goal back. I mean, when I was screaming like a baby, for goodness sake. But it was amazing, wasn't it? It really was, the atmosphere. This is what you kind of live for. You play football for these moments.
Yeah, this place is second to none. The supporters are second to none. When you have such a group who plays that spirit and with such a unity and togetherness, it's a joy to work for this club. It's a joy to work with this group of lads together each every day. And if they connect like today, so Elland Road, the roof goes off, and the lads are exploding, and supporters are imploding for this. This is why you're doing all the hard and disciplined work. And sometimes you also have to enjoy the way and the road a little bit. Otherwise, you ask yourself one day why I'm doing all this disciplined hard work. So sometimes it's also important to enjoy yourself and allow these emotions. And for that, yes, great scenes.
There is a gap there now between Leeds United and the sides in third and fourth. How significant is that gap?
Yes, there is a gap. That's definitely good. But sadly, there are more than just 4 or 5 games to go. So sadly, we have still many games to go. And if we right now would stop on 72 points, we would perhaps make it in the top 6, but not guaranteed anyhow. I think. Yeah, hopefully we won't lose all the last 13 games. So I think it was a major step, of course, today. But we have to make sure that we will definitely reach the playoffs. But in order to, right now also to have a chance to be there in the top 2 with automatic promotion, we need to win 20 more points. And for that, it's a long road. Every game is complicated. You've seen it today. Difficult away games, challenging home games. And for that, we have to ride the momentum further on and have to keep going. So nothing is won yet. So it's not like after 3 points in the home game, you're already through on 72 points. We will never be in the top 2. So we have to win many more points, and we want to keep going.
That's it. Just keep going. Daniel, great night. Well done. Thank you.
Very much. Thank you.
Great, excellent. Cheers, Daniel.
Yes.
Bryn, after the Watford game, he said that you can be happy and have some fun. And is he going to allow you to have some fun and happiness tonight, you and Tony, like he did at Watford?
I think Daniel would grant us the right to have a little bit of fun and enjoy ourselves this evening, to be honest with you. I wouldn't see there being a problem with that, Simon. Would you like to have a little bit of fun with us as well, perhaps?
Could you speak up a little bit? Your voice seems to have gone.
I've ruined it. It's been a long day. I've been at work all day and various other things. That's just finished me. It's a good job there's a week before the next game, I'll tell you.
Brilliant, Tony, thank you so much. Like Daniel says, the fire's certainly still burning, isn't it there, lads, eh?
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? This place was absolutely rocking, the togetherness, as I keep mentioning. The special nights like this, the people will always remember nights where things have ended so positively. Leicester last year will remembered. Cardiff a few weeks ago will always go down in memory of supporters because of the 7 goals. Tonight will be remembered for a long time because of the magnitude of the result and how late it was scored.
Look, we heard Daniel talk about the fact there's still a lot of games left, Bridie. 13. That's actually going to go really fast, and there's not a lot in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've had some real consistency this season. I mean, things can still go terribly wrong, let's be honest, but we're on a really good run, and that the way in which we won that, the players will be absolutely buzzing, and that's what it's about. It's about enjoying yourself. Sometimes, even when you win a match as a player, you can think, we won, but I didn't really enjoy that. It was a lot harder than I wanted it to be. But they will have absolutely loved that, and they'll take that into the next game. And it just goes to show that when you do score late on, it's about getting that belief as well that, even when the clock hits 90, there's still time in this until, what do they say, until the fat lady blows the whistle or whatever.
Rude.
But yeah, you've just got to keep fighting to the end, and they've done that, and the way in which they did it was just absolutely phenomenal.
Where's my whistle? But look, it was lovely just to hear him talk with such pride and heart. Like, you could sense the emotion coming out of Daniel there, couldn't you?
Look, being a manager is a stressful job, believe me, and being a manager of this football club can be very, very stressful. And that's why you've got to enjoy the moments. He spends so much time in the job that he does, from being first in probably every morning to probably being last away, analysing opposition, working with his own players, looking after his own players in terms of players out the squad, not playing, meetings he's having constantly with people. it's a full-on 24/7 job. So when you're on the touchline and you get a result and you've impacted it with some major decisions that have gone right, he will feel good about himself. But as I said earlier, that will more or less be stopped in about an hour's time, and he will turn. I'm being professional, and he will sleep tonight very well. But then he'll be focusing on Sheffield United again.
I don't like it when you're professional.
I know. I'll just be a fan then.
Well, in terms of Sheffield United, are you expecting a similar opposition, Bridie, in that one?
Very much so, yeah. I mean, they do score goals and they're also quite hard to break down, so I think it'll be very much like the same today.
Well, it's been absolutely unbelievable. I've lost my voice pretty much, which I'm sure you're all buzzing about. I've got a sore throat. It has been an incredible evening here at Elland Road as Leeds United snatched the 3 points in the dying moments thanks to the super sub that is Pascal Struijk. Now, our producer Tom has got a line that he wants us to get in, so one of you two is going to say it's a terrible line. He's adamant that he wants us to get it in. Simon, take it away.
I wasn't even listening to him. I never listened to him.
Pascal strikes again.
I thought it was lightning strikes twice. Never mind. We'll see you next week. Good night.